And welcome, wonderful viewers. Today I'm going to compare two pieces of equipment, two pieces of coffee equipment, because this is the Audiophile Barista channel, so we need some coffee items every now and then. And in a few months, in December, Mrs. Barista and I are going on a holiday trip. We have rented a camper and we're going to Germany to visit as many disc golf courses as we can. This is a new sport we picked up during the pandemic. We both love it, so that's what we're going to do. Now, of course, in this camper we need coffee. So for today, what I'm trying is picking out these two different kinds of equipment that you can use in a setting like camping. And this is two things that do not require any electricity. This over here is the Handpresso, a nice little device. And over here, this is the Aeropress, as you can see. And I'm going to do a taste comparison and show you how you use these things. Let's start with the Aeropress. It is a lot more components than the Handpresso. Basically, you have this thing. This is where the water goes in. In order for the water not to fall out, you have to close it up like this and turn it over like that. Water goes in here. Then you have this little thing and these little paper filters, they go in there. You can, if you want to put coffee in there, use this thing as a funnel, but that's not what we're going to do. Putting this one on the side, and this is the Handpresso, mainly two pieces. This is what holds the coffee pad that is in here. This little cup is where the water goes in. Oh, this one. You close it up, and what you have to do in order to bring pressure to this one, it has a pump that will bring pressure into the machine. It has a gauge over here that will show you how much pressure there is in there. For this one to bring pressure is just the power of your hand. You have to push it down in order to make sure the water gets pushed through the coffee. And this one does not rely on pads, it relies on actual freshly grounded coffee. So, step 1 and 2, heat up some water, grind some coffee. Okay, so I did preheat the machine, I did preheat the cup. So the first thing we have to do is to make sure this thing gets under pressure. So that's what I'm going to do. You can check the gauge over here. Make sure it doesn't get into the red or just under red. Next thing is to follow up, fill up this with hot water. Then we need coffee. Get a cup out there and you push this to release the pressure. And then with all kind of coffee making you need patience. Making coffee is not something that you need to speed up. You need to enjoy, or you should enjoy the making of the coffee as well as the drinking of the coffee. Down below here is a stop, and that will make sure that it stops giving you pressure. And then you have coffee, espresso, with some crema on top. Now the crema is not very good this time, but let's give it a try. It's nice and strong, not bitter. So they don't really tell you what kind of flavor you get, although they do give you different flavors. So for me, this one is a little bit too strong. I think this was too much of a dark roast. Having said that, this is quite a good cup of coffee, especially if you would be making a cappuccino from this, to have the strong flavor and the sweet milk combined to a very good cup of cappuccino. That's where this would be perfect for. If you want to drink it black, Americano wise, you can just add some water and you can drink it like this. So that was the first one, the Handpresso, and let's try out the second one. And here we go, the Aeropress. Step 1, put this down over here. Step 2, make sure I put it on number 4. So this is closed. I'm going to fill it up somewhere between 1 and 2. First off, of course, put in my coffee. Then putting in my water. I forgot one thing. Two minutes. I'm stirring this. Making sure all the coffee grounds are loose so they are connected to the water. We have this thing with a little paper filter in there. Putting it on there. And there's two ways that you can do it. This is the reversed way, meaning it's upside down now. You can start with a cup, put this part over there, but then mostly it starts leaking already, and I don't like that, so I prefer this method. Let's wait another minute. Now, making coffee is also a game of patience. You better enjoy making the coffee, because many times there is some labor involved and there is some patience involved. If you're not the patient kind, this might not be the hobby for you. Okay, there we go. Now comes the big trick. Turn it upside down and squeeze it down until you hear it sizzling. this. Pull it back a little bit so it won't leak so much. And there is your cup of coffee. This is not making espresso. This is a nice clean cup of coffee. So let's have a taste. Still a bit hot. But this, let me get the other machine. Now this, the Aeropress coffee compared to the Handpresso espresso, this is a much better cup of coffee. Now mind you, espresso is a much stronger flavor. Actually, I don't really like the very intense flavor of espresso. That's why I always make an Americano out of it. So this Aeropress will make me a nice cup of coffee. And this would be less suited to make a cappuccino, where the Handpresso is more suited to make cappuccino. Now, especially if you are using very good beans and you take time to figure out how fine to grind your coffee, how much water to how much coffee, if you have dialed in all that, this actually makes for a great cup of coffee. This, especially for people, if you are not a coffee drinker and you have guests every now and then and you want to make a good cup of coffee, maybe even cappuccino, the Handpresso is absolutely the way to go. You have these pads, they last long. It is a very easy way of making coffee and it makes a very good cup of coffee. And of course another benefit is it is only 2 pieces in this equipment, where this is much more elaborate and you need to clean it, all those kind of things. So what if you are going camping, and we are having a camper, so the benefit of these 2 methods is that they don't have a power cord on them. So which one would I prefer? Well, it's actually quite difficult because my girlfriend mostly likes the cappuccino, so I would be needing this one. And if you are a coffee drinker, this would be the way to go. Now for the best cup of coffee, if you take good beans and you make sure that you have all the ratios to your liking, this is absolutely the way to go, the Aeropress. More elaborate, but a much better cup of coffee. If you want convenience and a good cup of coffee, more like espresso, and make a cappuccino, this would be the way to go. So I'm still not decided. Probably I'm going to order some nice beans and take the Aeropress with me. And this one goes back to my girlfriend. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comment section what it is that you are using at home, and I'll see you in the next one. Yes, this is really nice, even with supermarket beans.